Have you ever felt a pang of guilt that just won't go away? What is guilt, and why do we experience it? Guilt, in essence, is an emotion that arises when we reflect on our past actions. It's like a mirror that we hold up to ourselves, forcing us to evaluate our behaviors and their outcomes. It's not about who we are, but about what we've done. This is what sets guilt apart from shame. While shame tells us we are fundamentally bad, guilt tells us we've simply done something wrong. Guilt isn't picky. It doesn't single out specific actions or events. Instead, it can be triggered by a variety of factors, unique to each individual. And when it rears its head, it does so with a purpose, to compel us to right our perceived wrongs. It's a call to action, a sign that we're committed to bettering ourselves and our future conduct. But why is it so important to differentiate guilt from shame? The answer lies in their effects. Guilt, being action-focused, encourages us to fix our mistakes and seek reconciliation. Shame, on the other hand, tends to cause us to withdraw and internalize our feelings, sparking insecurities that can damage our relationships. Now, it's easy to see guilt in a negative light. After all, it's not exactly a pleasant feeling. But believe it or not, guilt can actually have positive implications. Various psychological studies have linked guilt to pro-social behaviors like helping others and being honest. For instance, a study conducted by Ma and colleagues in 2022 found that preschool children were more likely to admit to cheating when they were feeling guilty rather than sad. Guilt can also enhance our ability to empathize with others, allowing us to better understand their feelings and perspectives. This, in turn, can lead to a more constructive approach to mending our relationships. So, guilt, while often unpleasant, can actually motivate us to improve our actions and behaviors. In the next scene, we'll delve deeper into the positive side of guilt and explore how we can harness its power for our benefit. Stay tuned. Surprisingly, guilt can have some positive effects. Curious? Let's explore further. Now, it may seem counterintuitive to think of guilt as anything but a negative emotion. After all, it often accompanies feelings of regret, remorse, and self-reproach. But what if I told you that guilt, when understood and managed properly, can act as a catalyst for positive change? Psychological studies have drawn fascinating links between guilt and pro-social behaviors. These are actions that benefit others or society as a whole, like helping others and displaying honesty. For instance, in a study conducted by Ma and colleagues in 2022, preschool children who experienced guilt were more likely to admit cheating than those who felt sadness. This suggests that guilt can foster honesty, a virtue we all value. But that's not all. Guilt also enhances our capacity for empathy. It helps us understand and resonate with others' feelings and perspectives more deeply. This heightened sense of empathy can lead to more constructive approaches to mending relationships. So, guilt doesn't just make us honest, it makes us kinder, more understanding individuals as well. One thing to bear in mind, though, is that guilt's positive effects hinge on our ability to manage it. If we let guilt consume our thoughts and emotions, it can be debilitating. But if we use it as a tool for introspection and self-improvement, it can be a potent force for positive change. So how do we do that? How do we harness the positive aspects of guilt without getting overwhelmed by it? The key lies in acknowledging our feelings, understanding why we're feeling guilty, and then taking steps to rectify our mistakes. It's about using guilt as a guide to better behavior, rather than letting it define us. Despite its discomfort, guilt can actually enhance our empathy and promote constructive relationship repair. So, the next time you're grappling with feelings of guilt, remember, it's not just about feeling bad about what you've done. It's also about learning, growing, and becoming a better version of yourself. Now that we understand guilt and its potential benefits, how can we manage it effectively? The first strategy is truth-telling. Truth-telling is a powerful tool in the face of guilt. It involves a sincere admission of our deeds, an open acknowledgement of our actions, and it has been found to be fundamental in alleviating guilt. You see, when we allow ourselves to be honest, not just to others, but also to ourselves, we create an opportunity for healing, restoration, and forward movement. Consider a study conducted by Peer et al. In 2014. They explored the impact of confessing on emotional relief following unethical behavior. Their findings were quite revealing. It turned out that individuals who fully confessed to their unethical actions experienced a much greater sense of emotional relief compared to those who either did not confess at all or only partially confessed. Isn't that fascinating? By merely acknowledging our actions and confessing them, we can significantly reduce the emotional burden that guilt places on us. It's like lifting a weight off our shoulders. This is because confession brings our actions out into the open, allowing us to deal with them directly, rather than having them linger in the shadows of our minds. But it's worth noting that truth-telling isn't always easy. It requires courage, humility, and a willingness to face the consequences of our actions. It may be uncomfortable, it may even be painful, but it's a vital step in managing guilt effectively. That being said, truth-telling isn't just about confessing wrongdoings. It's also about acknowledging our actions to ourselves, owning up to our mistakes, and accepting responsibility. This self-awareness not only helps us understand why we did what we did, but also guides us in making better decisions moving forward. Confessing the truth can provide a significant emotional relief, helping us to move past our guilt. So, let's embrace truth-telling, let's confront our guilt head-on, and let's use it as a catalyst for positive change. Because when we face the truth, we find the power to transform guilt into growth. Truth-telling is just the first step. The next strategies involve seeking repair and avoiding rumination. Guilt, in its most constructive form, drives us towards rectification and reconciliation. It's a catalyst, pushing us to mend relationships we may have strained through our actions. This repair process can take many forms, from heartfelt apologies to making amends through actions. What's important is the sincere intention to right the wrongs, to heal the wounds we may have inadvertently inflicted. But remember, seeking repair is not just about the other person or people involved. It's also about you. It's about acknowledging your actions and making a conscious effort to learn from them. In this way, guilt becomes a teacher, guiding us towards better behavior and healthier relationships. However, while the desire to repair is a positive step, it's equally important to avoid getting stuck in a cycle of rumination. You know, those endless loops of what-ifs and if-onlys that keep us locked in the past, preventing us from moving forward. Rumination can be a tricky thing. It can make us feel like we're doing something constructive when, in reality, we're just spinning our wheels, stuck in the mud of guilt. It's essential to recognize when reflection turns into rumination and to take steps to break the cycle. One of the most effective ways to do this is through forgiveness. Forgiving others, and perhaps more importantly, forgiving ourselves. It's about accepting that we're all human, and we all make mistakes. Forgiveness allows us to let go of the guilt, to learn from our actions, and to move forward with a greater sense of compassion and understanding. So let's remember, guilt can lead us to repair, and forgiveness can free us from rumination. By harnessing these two powerful forces, we can transform guilt into a tool for personal growth and stronger relationships. By seeking to repair relationships and avoiding rumination, we can prevent guilt from becoming a burden. One final strategy involves distinguishing guilt from shame. This can be a game changer. Guilt and shame, while often coexisting, are distinct in their essence. Guilt is a reaction to a specific behavior, making us feel that our actions were wrong. On the other hand, shame is a self-focused emotion that makes us feel as if we, as a whole, are flawed. When we make a mistake, guilt encourages us to rectify it, leading to a positive change in our actions. Conversely, shame can lead us to internalize the error, making us feel as if we are fundamentally bad people. This can cause us to withdraw and can undermine relationships. It's important to prevent the generalization of a mistake to our core identity. When we do this, we can leverage guilt constructively without succumbing to the detrimental effects of shame. By distinguishing guilt from shame, we can avoid the detrimental effects of shame and use guilt as a constructive force. So, we've learned that guilt, while uncomfortable, can serve as a catalyst for positive change. We've delved into the intricacies of guilt, discovering its role as a self-focused emotion that can compel us to reassess, modify, and improve our actions. We've explored the positive side of guilt, understanding its potential to foster empathy, honesty, and pro-social behaviors. We've also learned how to navigate guilt by acknowledging and confessing the truth, a fundamental step towards alleviating its emotional weight. We've discussed the importance of seeking repair in relationships and the necessity of avoiding excessive rumination to prevent guilt from adversely affecting our mental well-being. And finally, we've understood the importance of distinguishing guilt from shame, enabling us to leverage guilt constructively without succumbing to the detrimental effects of shame. In essence, guilt, when understood and managed effectively, can be a potent force for personal growth and improved interpersonal connections. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more helpful content. Hello again, This is the Wellness Reflections Tribe, and we want to extend our deepest gratitude for taking the time to view this video. Your interest in understanding and managing guilt is a testament to your dedication towards personal growth and emotional well-being. If you're intrigued by this topic and wish to delve deeper into the intricacies of guilt and its implications, we encourage you to check out the list of references we've compiled for further reading. You can find these references in the comments section below. Every book, article, and study we've included offers valuable insights that can enhance your understanding, not only of guilt, but also of the broader scope of emotions and their impact on our lives. So don't hesitate to explore these resources. Thank you again for joining us in this exploration of guilt as a catalyst for change. We hope you found it insightful and empowering. Until next time, stay curious, stay inspired, and always strive for emotional wellness.